Hello everyone, it is me, Porky2007, and welcome to this very special episode of Custom, where today I'll be talking about something that took me 8 months to build, and that would be my layout of Copper Canyon Speedway. Ever since I've completed it and showed it to social media, let's just say though, everyone loved it. Well, mostly everyone, but they don't matter. So to thank everyone who loved this project when it was completed, this video we'll be talking about how I made Copper Canyon Speedway starting from November 1st, 2023, all the way to July 22nd, 2024. And without wasting more time, let's begin. So you might be thinking, why did I build this track? Well, it's because of one key word, and that key word is inspiration. You see, ever since I joined the cars community, I've been so impressed by the track dioramas that the people in this community have built, especially the Cars Shifters, LA Speedway diorama, and Piston Cupster's Motor Speedway of the South diorama, which she's actually the main reason why I wanted to build this track, because when he was building it, I was all like, you know what? I should make my own track too. But that got me wondering, what track should I build? Then thus, I decided to build Copper Canyon Speedway, and it's because that Copper Canyon Speedway is based off of Phoenix Raceway, and well, Phoenix Raceway is in a desert environment, which is something I can relate to because, well, I live in New Mexico and it's mostly desert out here. And also, Phoenix Raceway was the first track that I ever went to when I saw like a NASCAR race in person. So yeah, I had an idea for a track, and now it's time to build it. So the first thing that I did was to draw a sketch of the track's layout with all the correct measurements and stuff. But once I was satisfied with the sketch, I decided to get a giant wooden board from Home Depot and cut it into the size what I wanted to be. Then next I took cardboard and I cut out some little shapes of the track's turns and straights just to give me an accurate size of how the track is going to be when I traced them on the board. And at that same Home Depot, I bought some styrofoam just so I can cut out the banks of the turns and straights, which by the way I did got some injuries from. Like, look at these photos of me bandaging my fingers, which yeah, remember kids, knives are sharp, and yeah, don't play around with sharp objects because this shit will happen. Next, I started to make the track look more like asphalt, which by the way, a lot of people were asking me what type of did I use to make the track look like this. Well, it's actually quite simple. I used a layer of cardstock paper that I placed over on the styrofoam. Then after that, I put another layer of black construction paper on top of it just to give it that asphalt look, but also to make sure that the stock card paper makes the track flat, just so the cars will of course go under smoothly. So then thus I started to make the walls of the track by grabbing a piece of cardboard, cutting it, and wrapping it around this teal, or I guess turquoise construction paper. But I ran into one problem, and that problem is that, well, the track just was not smooth. And I think the reason why the track wasn't smooth when I tested the cars on it, like when I rolled on it, they didn't go under smoothly. And the reason why I think they didn't went on smoothly is because I didn't cut the styrofoam correctly. Maybe that's why I kept cutting myself. So then thus I removed the old styrofoam and I cut out some new styrofoam. This time I cut it correctly without injuring myself, and I glued it on the track, and I reused the walls that I've made before for this new track. And let's just say though, it looks a lot better. The cars can go under a lot more smoothly, which is something that I, well, of course, wanted it. So far I've only gotten this part of the straight done, but after that I've made turns 1, 2, and 3 of the track. I've also modeled and 3D printed a flag waver stand for the track and for Dexter Hoover or whoever flag waver is there to be on it. And I've also finished turn 4, so now I have a complete, well, of course, loop of track. And then thus, as for the inner part, well, I covered it in a layer of cardstock paper. Then after that I covered it in a layer of, well, black construction paper. Then I used the cardstock paper to cut little strips for, like, you know, the little walls. And I've also grabbed a yellow paint marker to draw the lanes and pit areas. And I also glued the flag waver stand right here, which you might be thinking, why did I put it right there? Well, I've also wanted the track to resemble how Phoenix Raceway looks nowadays, so that's why it's right there. But there was a problem. I was moving at the time, and I had to move the track to the new, well, place I was at. And let's just say though, the track did got some damage, such as at this straight and also some parts of the pit row. So I had to fix those later on. And I mean, that's fine. I was gonna fix the pit area anyway because it kind of does look like a mess. Getting back on track, I've also made some decals specifically for this Copper Canyon layout, such as the details for the walls, the infield, and of course the finish line. I've also started to put up the catch fence posts, which you might be thinking, how did I make those? Well, instead of me using wood, I've decided to model the catch fence posts on Autodesk Fusion, and I 3D printed them, which I 3D printed a lot of them. I've also uploaded these files on my Thingiverse account, which I'll put a link in the description if you want to use these for yourself. And then thus, I've 3D printed all the catch fence posts that I have needed for this track. And then thus, it is now time for me to attach, well, the actual catch fence itself. The type of that I've used for the catch fence is, well, actual real chicken wire metal, which was a pain in the ass for me to attach, but hey, the end result does look nice. Once when I was done attaching all of the catch fence on the straight parts, I've also started to attach the catch fence to the curvier parts, like on the turns, which was a pain in the ass to attach, which I did gotten some injuries from, because, well, of course, the catch fence is a bit sharp in areas, but hey, the end result does look nice. Once all the catch fence were attached to the track, now it's time for the inner details, such as the pit stalls and the garages. But before I do that, I need to fix the damaged parts, such as the little scratch on the straight and the pits. So then thus, I removed the old construction paper that was there, and I replaced it with this new construction paper, which does look a little different because it's a different shade of black compared to the rest of the track. But I didn't really mind it on the pits, well, except for that straight, because it does look a little off. So then thus, I bought the same brand of construction paper that I used for the rest of the track, and I glue it back on the area where the scratch was, and it looks a lot better. Then thus, I decided to add the details in the pit area, which this time I've actually took some accurate measurements and even used the cars themselves to make sure that the track is properly scaled to the pits for the cars, just so it looks, well, good, unlike before where it just looked all wonk. Now since all that is done, now I can finally work on the garage and score tower, and also the little pit stalls, which I've glued the score tower and the garage building on the track, well, except for the pit stalls, because, well, for one, I want these to be removable just so I can put them in different spots, or replace them with a certain pit stall in a different style depending on what setting this track is going to be in. Once all the pit stalls were made, and I've also glued the garage and score tower on the track, I've made special decals for the score tower, garage, and the pit stalls just so I can give this track a bit of life and also to make sure that they're accurate. And once all that is finished, after 8 months, this track is now finished. And let's just say though, the end result looks amazing. I am extremely proud for what I've built, and now I can have a special area where I can film cars content involving the diecast, especially stop motion, which, speaking of which, this track was also featured in Piston Cupster's movie, The King's Crown, which I highly recommend check it out. It's a very well-written, well-made movie made by Cupster's creative mind, and I feel so proud to be in this film, both with the Copper Canyon being shown on screen and me voice acting the characters. So that concludes of how I made Copper Canyon Speedway, and let's just say though, I'm extremely proud for the final result, and I appreciate all the positive feedback that I've given when I made this track. And you, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, well, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more of this content, subscribe for more of my content. And you, Boulder!